Magdalene's blog 14. Ayala and Carmel have already been into Antioch. They came back full of tales of boys and men and boys, and a few descriptions of the city and its marketplaces thrown in as well. Now our time has come to venture out and see the city we have lived so close beside but never visited. We've helped each other with the final touches to our makeup and dress. Both of us are in the ochre working dress of neophytes and our dark red cloaks. The priestesses wear green cloaks, in all shades from almost yellow to arguably blue. Somewhere beyond the temple walls, a cockerel is crowing. Mario was waiting with the 4 donkeys at the gate to the sacred grove. Sarita and I followed the 2 priestesses, Nerian and Selene, through onto the dusty street where a dog scavenging in a pile of rubbish and an old lady cleaning the doorstep of her house were the only other beings around. The sun was yet to rise, but the cool air breathed the fresh promise of a lovely day. Gaius, the grizzled old door guard, and the black eunuch Bocker watched us go down the street and round the corner before turning back to the gatehouse and some hot mint tea. The environs of the temple are in New Antioch, although there has always been some sort of temple on the site of the spring. There are quite a few rich people living in the area, and the streets are relatively well tended. Today we are making a couple of stops at local houses before going into the city proper, delivering rolled lengths of cloth and collecting finished garments from the women who have made them to the customer orders they'd been given. The priestesses act as intermediaries for many women who work within the textile and clothing trade, having all the contacts needed to keep a thriving little industry going. As we approached the southwest gate of the city wall, 2 guards that would accompany us to the market came out to meet us. Part of a long-standing arrangement between the temple and the city guards, were also some of the temple's best customers, in other ways, at other times. The inner streets were already awake with activity. At one corner, a group of merchants were haggling with the owner of an inn about storage of their goods. At another, some children were being berated by a mother to get back inside, while a group of beggars lurched along the other side of the road. There were cages full of chickens stacked up by a wall beside one doorway, while songbirds sang from smaller cages out on higher balconies or roofs between lines of washing, strung out to catch the early sun. It was colourful, not yet very noisy, but certainly smelly in places, and both Sarita and I had to watch carefully where we stepped as we followed the clip-clapping hooves of the donkeys towards the market square, avoiding the detritus of city life. The closer we got to the centre, the more the bustle of early morning city life intensified. Mule-drawn carts carrying goods of every kind passed us down the centre of the way, whilst hand-carts were pushed out to the sides, jostling one another and us until we all spilled out into the centre areas of the town. Forum is a large rectangular space with the twin temples of Zeus Jupiter and Hero Juno set back up several wide banks of steps at the furthest end. Today, the market activity extended from the market square through the surrounding streets and into the forum itself. 2 of our donkeys carried on to Market Square with Selene, Mario and the products from the temple, especially vegetables on the one, with breads and all manner of freshly baked products piled high upon the other. In the forum, Sarita and I stayed with Nerian at 2 stalls being constructed side by side. One has clothes of every sort that we have brought, and the other is smaller but stacked with a myriad of glass and terracotta vessels of all shapes and sizes, variously filled with potions and lotions, individually marked and sealed closed. Many of these are ready to be claimed by the person bringing a token with the same sign, for they have been refilled at the behest of their owners to be collected at the stall. There are also larger pots on display, containing the range of cosmetic and other specialty products that the Astartes priestesses make, ready to be decanted into smaller ones from boxes on the cart. This is where we spent most of the morning, greeting and seeing to the needs of our customers, who are mainly well-to-do women of the town, but also the occasional man on a mission for their wife or other lover. There were a number of young men in the forum too. Some were engaged in a debate upon the steps of the temple, whilst others were less discernibly involved in anything. Both Sarita and I were aware of being assessed at different times by these little groups, and we were as actively involved as them, looking to see what the young men around were like. Anyone that could spark our interest? It didn't look completely unpromising. The sun was warm, despite the time of year, and a travelling band of musicians had set themselves up near one side of the forum. Business had slowed, and so I was allowed to stroll over and watch the performance at closer hand. The musicians and dancers seemed to have come from a different world, for they are from a tribe that wander in the semi-desert lands, children of a mysterious tradition. Their music is simple, and yet I think more beautifully constructed than anything I've ever heard. Entranced, I moved closer among the encircling audience.